In Defense Of is really quite a unique true crime documentary that's very different to pretty much anything I've ever seen before. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about the episodes. There were 4 episodes, I believe, off the top of my head, because I don't want to spoil it too much. But I will kind of discuss kind of what it's about in general. I watched it on Now TV. As I said, 4 episodes, each one about 40 minutes. It won't take you too long. But this is told from the perspective of attorneys who are, defending the accused. These are defense lawyers who have the difficult job of trying to get reduced sentences for people who are guilty. And in all of these cases, it's generally believed that these people are guilty. It's not like trying to prove their innocence or anything. And I'll start with the last case. Actually, there are 4 cases. The last one is probably one of the most powerful of them all. And this is Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, I can't even imagine what it would be like trying to defend Ted Bundy. Not that they were defending his actions, but obviously trying to, get a lesser sentence or make a plea deal. And this is all about the person who was his defense lawyer. And honestly, seeing what they had to go through with Ted Bundy is painful, because it's not just a case of they read some notes, they rock up on the day of court, defend the guilty, and then go home. This is, when you're a defense lawyer, it's all consuming. And when you're dealing with somebody as complicated as Ted Bundy, not going to be easy. This of the 4 episodes, I think, was the most in-depth. It utilised the most, the most documentary footage, the most archive footage, recordings of Bundy, really great interviews with people involved in the case, and of course, the attorney. And I thought that was, very well edited, very well put together. I learned quite a lot about Ted Bundy during his time in prison and the several times he escaped. I hadn't realised he'd escaped quite so many times. So I actually learned a lot about him as well, although it did kind of gloss over certain aspects of his crimes. But again, this isn't about him. This is not about him. This is not the Ted Bundy show. And that's the case with the other ones. We have Jodi Arias, Clive Doyle, and Timothy McVeigh. The first 2 I thought were kind of boring because the crimes were not the kind of crimes that I'm interested in. I like one-on-one familial crime murders or Ted Bundy. I say I like them. I find them fascinating. So the first 2 were interesting as episodes, well edited, well structured. No issue there. I just didn't find the subject matter that interesting. The third one, it's so the defendant is Jodi Arias and her defense attorney is Kirk Nurmi, and he's actually written a 3-part book about his time representing Arias. I haven't read it. Obviously, I've only just found out about it. Desperate to read it, so I'll definitely be checking that out. But basically, this case nearly destroyed him. And in this episode, he talks openly and at length about what it was like representing Arias. We get to see court case footage. Another reason I wish we had cameras in the courts in the UK, but we don't, unfortunately. Get to see court case footage and what the trial was like, and there were times when Arias said things that she hadn't actually run past Nurmi, which is going to be very frustrating because it could blow the entire case apart, or, the plea bargain apart. Very honest. I think if anybody ever wants to have a career in law, you need to watch this. I would personally love a career in law. If I had to go back and, redo my education and change direction, I would. But if you end up being a defense attorney, this, I think, all 4 of the episodes, even the first 2 that I wasn't that bothered about, are going to be eye-opening for how difficult it's going to be mentally. Very well-structured series of episodes. Definitely worth checking out if you like true crime. It's nice to get a slightly different perspective. Nice seeing the courtroom scenes and the footage there. Honestly, as a 4-part documentary series, I can't fault it. Very well edited. Everything seemed to just flow beautifully. A lot of professionals giving their opinions, which was very, very interesting to hear. And in terms of being exciting, certainly Jodi Arias and Ted Bundy, brilliant episodes. Timothy McVeigh and Clive Doyle, nothing wrong with them as episodes, just not my cup of tea. But I absolutely recommend this.